Hi, I'm Stephanie. This is my second reading reflection vlog for Power by Linda Hogan. First, similar to my first vlog, I want to start off by saying this class is all about storms, whether that be literal or metaphorical. And Power, Hogan falls nowhere short of metaphorical and literal storms. In this book, I definitely feel like the storms within here are awakenings more than anything. Similar to like near-death experiences, they're definitely awakenings for not only her, but her family. Breaking it down from the first few chapters, in the very first chapter, Amisha's grandmother feels like something is inside of her. Possibly the wind? Question mark? But the wind is known as Ani, which is the breath of life, but it's considered an entity. So is it maybe her intuition? You don't know. The first metaphorical storm I want to bring to attention would be Amisha's internal battle of having to choose between the ancient world and the new world. Basically, does she want to become her own person, or does she just want to follow her family's path? You can honestly kind of tie that into modern day. Basically, do you want to follow a crowd, or do you want to stick to your own values, stick to your own personal beliefs, and do your own thing, be your own person? It's an internal battle. When the storm first started brewing, Amisha realized that she didn't have her boat tied up like she thought she did. And she kind of starts freaking out a little bit, but then Alma tells her, like, just leave it, like, it can be replaced, it's fine. Like, your safety is basically more important. She thought about it, but she, like, ran after that boat. So it kind of makes you wonder, like, maybe it was kind of part of her identity, like, maybe it's something that kind of made her feel whole. Another thing is Western culture. It has such an influence on this story. They are trying so hard to push their renovations and their newer ideas onto the Tiger people and basically kick them out of their land. And I kind of want to tie that into the Panther, but I'm gonna get to that in just a minute. The Tiger people have been on that land for so many years, and for no logical reason besides the fact that they want their land for strip malls, roads, and just unnecessary things like that. They're being kicked out or even killed for that territory. Thus, this kind of brings up the Methuselah tree. It was very, very important to their culture, and it had been standing there for over 500 years. It was a focal point of their tribe. During the storm, it was unfortunately knocked down. I believe this ties into Western culture so much because I feel like it represents decolonization. That tree was like the focal point, and it got wiped out. So what does that mean then for the Taiga people? Does that mean they're gonna end up getting wiped out too by the Western culture? You gotta figure it out. The symbol that I was tying into earlier was the panther. In chapter 2, Amisha realized that there was like a cat watching her, and it was making her really, really uneasy and uncomfortable. And little did she know how important that exact panther was going to be. Chapters, honestly, from chapter 4 to the very end, are probably my favorite chapters. The whole book is so action-packed, but these last few chapters are like insane to me. At this point at the end of chapter 3, Alma had killed that panther because it was sick and it was very, very ill, and she didn't want to keep watching it suffer. At chapter 4, Amisha's mother and sister, they know exactly what had happened. Pretty much the entire tribe already knew what happened, but they don't understand why they did it, considering it was a huge federal offense because they were insanely endangered. A couple days later, her family ended up sending Amisha to church, even though they know she does not believe in religion. They start talking about how God is not going to forgive her and is going to basically punish her and Amma for what they did. But she doesn't understand how a God could be so unforgiving towards his own children. Like, that didn't make any sense to her at all. Very fact, like, pushes her to be closer to Alma because Alma understands where Amisha was coming from, and it's the same vice versa. A couple of days later, they got called to court, and it was nothing but back and forth for days on end. And within, I think it was either the second or third day, the shotgun they had in the courtroom was ruled out as evidence because it was found that it was not the one that killed the panther. This then sets them to square one with zero evidence against them, even though Alma completely admitted to everything. she told them every single thing that she did, and still there was not evidence to convict her of killing the panther, so she was set free. The Taiga people, however, did not see it this way at all, because they know she did it, she admitted to it. They were going to take it into their own hands at that point. So the Taiga people then gather them around the fire and ask them to go through their story one more time. They tell them again, Alma's still leaving out the fact that the panther was ill, because she knew it would break the Taiga people's heart. So she kind of left that part out, and Amisho couldn't understand what they were saying, but they started talking amongst themselves. All of a sudden, she sees Alma stand up and just leave. So by that, we're kind of assuming that she was asked to leave. But from this point, she is not seen again. In chapter 9 was by far my favorite chapter, only because like it genuinely is a chapter that leaves you sitting on the edge of your seat. It is insane, because it leaves not only you, but also the characters within the story wondering, where did she go? Like, is she still alive? Is she just like roaming around? But you would think if she was just roaming around, someone would have seen her. And they kept saying that like, oh, well, certain people have seen her around, but is that really true? Is it people maybe covering up? Maybe they know the Taiga people did something to her, and maybe they're covering up. It's insane, because when you finally get to that very last page, you know, you're like, oh, okay, but then you're like, okay, but what happened to Alma? Like, where did she go? Like, is she still here? Is she still alive? Where is she? No idea. But it also kind of personally makes me wonder, like, what Amisha is gonna do, because Alma was like her guiding light throughout the entire story. She was helping Amisha find her own way without the influence of her family. Like, what is she gonna do now that Alma's just gone? I don't know. It's so crazy to me. The story has fallen nowhere short of fulfilling its promises. It's so crazy. All right, that is the end of my reflection vlog. I will see you guys for the third and the last reflection vlog in a couple of weeks. Bye.